We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Lori Daybell, as to the crime of count 1, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder occurring on or about October 2nd, 2019, as follows. Guilty.
She hears that word again. Convicted child murderer Lori Vallow Daybell convicted once again today here in Arizona. A jury convicted the so-called doomsday mom of conspiring to kill her niece's ex-husband. 12 News journalist Erica Stapleton in the courtroom when all this happened. All right, quick verdict. I mean, very quick, Erica.
Yeah, Troy, it's believed this jury deliberated for less than 30 minutes. Lori Vallow Daybell sat slumped in her chair as the court clerk read that guilty verdict. And as you indicated, the third she's heard in the past 3 years. She was already convicted in Idaho for murdering her children, Tylee and JJ, and for her role in the death of Tammy Daybell, her current husband, Chad Daybell's first wife. Just a few weeks ago, she was convicted in a different Arizona case for conspiring to kill her former husband, Charles Vallow. Now, she's convicted of conspiring to kill Brandon Boudreaux. Investigators believe Lori's brother shot at Boudreaux back in 2019. Boudreaux was not injured and actually took the stand to testify in this case. Lori Vallow Daybell represented herself and didn't present any evidence, but she did cross-examine witnesses, including the victim.
I have heard the question asked, why hold this trial? She already has multiple life sentences. My response is simple. We owe it to those who are victimized and choose to follow the law to uphold justice on their behalf. So many victims never get this day. So I thank the judge and the jury who willingly put their lives on hold to complete this process. I did not enjoy sitting and giving someone who tried to kill me the chance to question me, but I owed it to Charles, to Tylee, to JJ, and to Tammy to speak because I could.
Now, let's talk about conspiracy. In court, the state said Vallow Daybell's co-conspirators were not only her brother, Alex Cox, but her current husband, Chad Daybell, and her niece, Melanie Pulowski, who is Brandon Boudreaux's ex-wife. Alex Cox died before charges were filed. Chad Daybell is on death row in Idaho, but not charged in the cases in Arizona. Melanie Pulowski also not charged, but in court we learned she's still part of an open investigation. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office said it hasn't received any submittals for Pulowski at this time. As for Lori Vallow Daybell, she's set to be sentenced for both of her Arizona murder conspiracy convictions in July. After that, she'll be extradited back to Idaho, where she'll spend the rest of her life in prison. Troy?
Yeah, 30 minutes for that jury. I'd be so interested to hear what happened in that room. You just kind of sit down and say, you know, one basically canvas of everybody, and then that's it, you're done? Did you try to talk with them today?
Well, we would have loved to have heard from the jury, Troy, but we were kept in the courtroom after the verdict was read. I say we as in the members of the media. The jury was released, and when we went outside to try and look for them, they were not where they typically were to get the bus. So it's believed that maybe we were kept from going after the jurors like the last time she was convicted here in Arizona. We kind of went after them and asked them, you know, what did you know? Did you know about her past? Can you believe this? So it would be great to have a chance to, to interview them, to talk with them, but that was just not something we were able to do today.
Maybe that's something we can do going forward. All right, Erica, thank you. Tram?
So let's take a legal deep dive into this case. Criminal defense attorney Josh Colesrud of Colesrud Law Offices joins me now. You know, we talked about 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes for this jury to come to a decision. That's in contrast to the last trial that was about 3 hours, both of which are quick. This one was really quick, though. What did you make of that?
Well, you know, the verdict was quick because the defendant, Lori Vallow, she didn't put on a defense. You know, she did what she was supposed to do, at least halfway, which was poking holes in the government's theory of the case. But when it came to actually having a concrete defense, like blaming her brother Alex or blaming Melanie, which is called the third-party defense, she didn't do that. So when it was her turn to put on evidence, she just told the judge, we rest. So the jury really didn't have anything to consider other than what the prosecutor told the jury.
But doesn't that just go back to the fact that she wanted to represent herself? I mean, that right there, you know, is a weakness, and she can't, you know, deliver the same and be her own attorney without that experience.
Exactly. So in a case like this, which was winnable, you needed an experienced defense attorney to kind of take control and get the wins where you could. For example, you don't want a defendant cross-examining a victim because it's going to seem personal no matter what happened. And so, that's what happened in this case. Also, there were a lot of different things about the evidence, the forensic evidence, for instance, like it was collected 30 days after the crime had been committed. There were problems with the plate reader, being that 10% of the time the plate reader is wrong. And Lori wasn't able to make those points, get out, and then blame Alex or Melanie. So because she didn't have the experience, the prosecutor was able to take advantage of that.
So this is the third and final trial. 3 trials, 3 years. Is this gonna be it?
Well, it's a lot, but yes, this is going to be it. And the reason why it's important, the reason why the Maricopa County and Rachel Mitchell went forward with this case was, number one, to give the victims justice, which they certainly deserve. But number two, Rachel Mitchell wants to protect the first verdict, which was in Idaho, and the second trial as well, because each one of those was a life sentence. And if they get overturned, what's going to happen? Well, with this third case, we know that she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison. So it was worth it because it's a safety net just in case the other cases are overturned.
Overall, looking back, what did you take from this?
Well, I would take that, justice is done regardless if the crime took place in another state or whether it's here, and Arizona will still go after you even if you already have life sentences. And that is a great message for victims.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for your expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And make sure to stay with 12 News for continuing coverage on this trial. We'll have recap and analysis on Inside the Courtroom tonight at 8:30, exclusively streaming on 12+. Troy?
And